course, COVID came along. Now, COVID to the charter industry was a curse and then a blessing. Everything went quiet at COVID. Nobody was flying, obviously. Commercial airlines were not flying. Everybody stayed at home. But eventually, I think folk get fed up and the commercial airlines still refused to fly. But the charter industry started to fly again and people were able to jump on a charter aircraft and eventually travel. So, as I say, the COVID was a curse, but then a blessing. And we could not keep up with demand.
Hey everybody, it's Stuart Smith with SmallCapVoice.com, and I'm so glad you decided to join us today for our online business briefing where we shine a spotlight on some of the smartest and freshest plays out there in the market today. And we are speaking with a new company for our online business briefing here today. It's a company out of Southern California. I'm going to give you their ticker symbol now, but I'm going to reference some news with a dateline and a headline in a moment. The ticker symbol right now is ATAO, Alpha Tango Alpha Oscar. That is on the OTCQB. But again, here's the dateline, March 13th, 2025. Here's the headline. So we've got Altair International Corp completes acquisition of Premier Air Charter. You dig into that press release and you get a quote from our guest today, Ross Gourdie, who's the president of Premier Air Charter. This is who we're speaking today, because that's what's going to happen. We've got a ticker symbol change coming. We've got a name change coming. It's going to be Premier Air Charter moving forward. Today, we're going to learn everything about not only the company, but this exciting industry from, as I just mentioned, the president of Premier Air Charter. That's Ross Gourdie. Ross, thanks so much for making time for us.
Thanks, Stuart. Thanks for having me.
It's wonderful to have you. And I would ask you what the weather's like there in Southern California, but we know it's sunny and 70 degrees, which is pretty much all year round.
You don't want to know.
We don't want to know. We don't want to know.
We do suffer here, Stuart, you know?
Yeah, you definitely do. Well, Ross, I laid it out for you. There's going to be a ticker symbol change. There's going to be a name change. This is the culmination of your company, Premier Air Charter, reversing into Altair International Corp. Ross, if you would, let's learn about Premier Air Charter, the business model, and then we're going to jump into who you are, a little bit more about the management team, and an outlook for 2025. But as it stands today, who is Premier Air Charter?
Yeah, Premier Air Charter, it's actually been going since 2006, but we acquired the company in 2019. And when we first acquired it, it was a few small little aircraft that you could privately charter. These little aircraft were 2, 3 seats, 4 seats at the very most. And it was just like a mom and pop shop. It really was. It was the owners just want to earn a few extra dollars to keep their aircraft ticking over, and they were chartering the aircraft. You could fly from Southern California, Arizona, Nevada, maybe up to North California, but that was about it. 2019 came along and I spoke to a few of my business partners and with a chance to buy this company. And what you're buying, you're not buying the aircraft, you're buying the charter certificate. And that is the big ticket. That what lets you go and earn money and make revenue. And if you've got the right aircraft, you can charter that aircraft and they'll fly all over. So the money is in that ticket, is in that certificate. And we bought the certificate in July 2019. And we were plodding along. We still had the small little aircraft. And of course, COVID came along. Now, COVID to the charter industry was a curse and then a blessing. Everything went quiet at COVID. Nobody was flying, obviously. Commercial airlines were not flying. Everybody stayed at home. But eventually, I think folk get fed up and the commercial airlines still refused to fly. But the charter industry started to fly again and people were able to jump on a charter aircraft and eventually travel. So, as I say, the COVID was a curse, but then a blessing. And we could not keep up with demand. A lot of folk, all your first class passengers, your business class passengers from the commercial airlines basically came to charter world, the private charter world, and they wanted to fly. They wanted to get out of the house. They wanted to get back to normal. And due to that demand, we were able to get some bigger and more modern aircraft. And 2021 was a great year. 2022 was a great year. And gradually we said goodbye to the little aircraft and we gradually moved into more bigger aircraft, 6 seats, 9 seats, We started chartering to Hawaii. We started chartering East Coast, West Coast, Canada, Mexico, right down to Panama Canal, all over the Caribbean. And ever since then, we've just been plodding along. So that was 2021, 2022. We're now at 2025. And it was always in the back of our mind to go public and to take the company public. And here we are. It's taken us a long time. There's been a few ups and downs. It's a lot of hard work. But we're now in a position where I've got a great team, great bunch of pilots, great bunch of mechanics, great support staff, operational staff. And we're at last in a position to go public. And as you said, Stuart, that's just basically happened in the past few weeks. And it's exciting times.
Well, and not only exciting, that was incredibly informative. I had no idea, honestly, the blessing and the curse. But boy, what a blessing, because the amount of people that discovered charter airlines and charter air travel had to be exponential, because you were the only game in town. And now, once you've had a taste of that, I'm sure it's incredibly difficult to go back. Before we move on to the next question, Ross, so as it stands today, what's the fleet look like?
Right now, we've got 8 aircraft we can charter, but we also manage another 3 aircraft where they don't charter, but we manage those aircraft on behalf of the owners. But the 8 aircraft that we charter, I like to put it in simple terms. We've basically got small, medium, and large. We've got Citation CJ2s and 3s. They're 5 or 6 seats, and they're great little modern, small little aircraft. They go all around the states, from state to state. They go cross country. We've got regular flights in them going to Dallas, from Southern California, up to Montana, up to Washington. But they can go anywhere. They're great little aircraft. So that's a small fleet. Then we move on to arguably what I call a medium-sized jet. It's a Citation 10. Now, the Citation 10s, we've got 3 of those, and they're regular East Coast, West Coast. They go California, Florida, the Carolinas, over to New York, Teterboro. Great aircraft. Arguably one of the fastest business jets there is out there. This thing is swept wing. It's like an F-18 jet fighter. It is an awesome aircraft, and they're goddamn fast. And the passengers love it. They can get East Coast, West Coast in record time, way quicker than any commercial airline. And then the next one up from that is we've got Challenger 601s. And that's a luxury fleet. That's the ones that you get a flight attendant, you get somebody pouring you champagne, you get somebody cooking you a steak and lobster dinner. Whatever you want to eat, they will get it. And these Challengers, they go cross country as well, but we take regular trips to Hawaii for any families want to go on vacation. And they go on vacation in style. They relax, big wide body cabin, lots of space. They can lay flat out. And as I say, it's nice to get somebody waiting on you and pouring you drinks and making you cocktails as you go on vacation. So we cover all aspects, Stuart. We've got small, medium, and large, and we go everywhere in these aircraft.
All right, I made a note to self. The Challenger is the one that I want for myself, and
yes, very nice.
Appreciate you. I'll hit you up on that after the show. So let's talk a little bit. You talked, and I appreciate what you said earlier as well. You know, the mechanics, the pilots, the staff. It's critical to have a great team, and it sounds like you've assembled one there. Ross, you're our guest today, though, so let's learn a little bit about yourself. And as well, within your press release, you talk about the CEO of the company. That's Sandra DeChico. Let's talk a little bit about Sandra as well, our 2 C-levels today, and then maybe we could talk about the team a little further later on down the line. But let's learn about you and your background, Ross.
Wow. I've been in aviation since high school. I left high school and I joined the military back in, you can tell with the accent, I'm not from San Diego originally. I grew up in Scotland and I joined the Royal Air Force straight after high school. And I spent approximately 9.5 years in the military as an aircraft mechanic and technician. And looking back, I loved it. It was great. I advise the military to any young person want to get into aviation. And you can see my old squadron emblem right behind me. Very proud of my time in the military, and I learnt loads. It was great. You get your hands on the tools, you're fixing aircraft. It was fantastic times. After I left the military, I carried on what I was doing in the commercial airlines. I was working at British Airways. I was working at a few regional airlines back in the UK. And I did that for the next, 20 years. And then eventually myself and my family made a decision to move to San Diego. And we got this opportunity, as I said earlier, to buy the company, to buy that charter certificate. And I got the investors, and it's just grown ever since then. So all in, I've been in aviations over 32 years. Been involved in, especially the maintenance side of things. I've been involved in that all my life. And now I still take a lot to do with the maintenance here at Premier. But yeah, I think going back to what you said, Stuart, it's the team that make it. It's a team of individuals I've got. They're second to none. They are an awesome bunch, and they get the job done. Going on to Sandra DeChico, she has got a wealth of knowledge and experience in business. She was the one that came in and made that initial investment all the way back in 2019, and we've grown the company ever since then. She's always been behind us. She's always kept an eye on things. And without her backing, we would not be here. So without Sandra, it's always a big thank you to Sandra. She's been great, but now she's now officially CEO of a public company. I think she's quite proud. She's quite proud of what's happened. But going forward, I'm excited about going forward with Sandra. I think we could take this company to even higher.
Well, I think your military background is invaluable for two things. One, it makes you appreciate a team, it appreciate
Uh-huh.
the team that's with you. But two, it makes you the leader that you are right now, which sounds like an incredibly humble leader and probably garners the appreciation and respect of your team easily, and self-deprecating again, giving so much credit to Sandra, who I'm sure has earned it wholeheartedly. But it sounds like a great team, and that's really the foundation for a company your size. It's the difference between success and failure with so many micro caps that most investors don't really look at when they're judging technicals, they're judging fundamentals. That's why I love to get to know people in these interviews as we're doing with you today, Ross. So now let's talk about the industry as a whole. We talked about your fleet. We talked about how the charter business took off during COVID, but as it stands today, here in 2025, give us kind of your expert opinion as someone who's immersed in that industry. Where do you see things going here in the charter business right now?
Well, we're all fairly optimistic, Stuart. Fingers crossed, 2025 could be an awesome year. Um, I think that, and that's across the whole industry. I've spoke to other CEOs, I've spoke to other presidents and charter companies, and they all say the same thing. We're all looking forward to a good 2025. So, as I say, I'm fairly optimistic. I think what takes us there is, once again, a great team, but it's getting those right aircraft. If we can get the right aircraft that makes it attractive to the customer and to the brokers, then we're in a good spot. And also, if we maintain those aircraft, if we've got a high standard of maintenance, which I insist on here at Premier, we know that we can pass on a great product to the customer, where they're getting modern aircraft, they're getting excellent maintained modern aircraft. Safety is always sky high, super important, the safety aspect of things. And I think if we put that across to all our customers and future customers, it does tick many boxes. But the key to it is getting experience, getting the right team involved, getting the right aircraft, and just getting everything put together. But it brings that whole package where we can just send that package out to the customer and they say, yeah, I want that aircraft. I know it's maintained very well. I know I've got an experienced crew behind it, and they're happy to fly in it and take their family to wherever or on a business trip. So the key is a lot of folk being involved in it and getting the right folk involved in it, but also, as I say, getting those right aircraft. And that's crucial.
So, Ross, you've driven home the point several times is the importance of the fleet. And you also have a couple of additions that I want to talk to you about as well. Talk to you about the two new planes that'll be coming on the fleet.
Yeah, we're just recently announced we've gained two new aircraft to the fleet, two Citation CJ3s. Now, these aircraft were manufactured less than 15 years ago. Now, that may sound a lot to some folk, but that's actually a fairly young aircraft in the industry. And these aircraft are second to none in their size. They're probably more than a small bracket, but they will carry 5 or 6 passengers once again all over the States. They'll hop around, going from East Coast, West Coast, vice versa. But they're modern. The avionics is modern on them. They've got Wi-Fi, super smooth. They fly at high altitudes, and the passengers love them already. We're already having regular trips, going from California all up to Montana to skiing in Aspen, to out to Dallas, out to the East Coast, out to Florida. But it's the age of the aircraft, the super modern avionics. Having the Wi-Fi in a small aircraft is also a blessing. Passengers love that aspect. And it's just comfort. It really is. Passengers sit back, relax, and they'll get there in super quick time. So adding these aircraft was a massive step forward from us, because we did have some CJ2s, which are slightly older, still good aircraft, but moving up a level to the CJ3s was a big step. And we're looking forward, as I say, to 2025. I think these aircraft are going to fly. Passengers will love them, and we're already got a lot of brokers on the phone, on emails, desperate to get their hands on them. So yeah, I want to add more if I could, and that is the plan for 2025. But right now, just adding 2 is a great step forward still.
Well, that's excellent. And, we're right on the precipice being here at the middle part of March. We're coming up on that summer travel season, which is a perfect time for you to add these to your fleet. But even more importantly, I'm going to go back with the addition of these planes. The maintenance team that you talked about that you have on hand in-house, that's a vertical integration move, because within the charter industry, not every outfit actually has their own maintenance. They actually lease or rent. I don't know what the term would be in your industry, but they bring the maintenance in third party. That would give me pause. I think one thing that we want to say, not just to potential investors, but to potential customers, is the added safety assurance that you bring to the table by having your in-house team that you govern over with those 30 years of experience.
Yeah, do you know what? That's something I've been passionate about. As I say, my background is all aircraft maintenance. Having worked at large airlines and being a manager at large airlines, I know what it takes, and it takes a lot to get a good maintenance team put together. I'll be honest with you, I might be a little bit more biased here, but it's tougher to find a good mechanic than it is a good pilot. Now, a lot of my pilots will probably dislike me for saying that, but hey, I'm a little bit biased because of my mechanical background. But it is, to get a good team put together in the maintenance department, it's difficult. But I'm happy to say I've got an amazing team downstairs in the hangar. I've got some of the best mechanics. I've got some guys who, like me, are over 30 odd years experience. And these guys are super smart, and they'll do anything. We've replaced engines. We've replaced landing gears. We've got guys that will happily unblock toilets if need be, It's never a nice job being a mechanic, but I know I've got a great bunch of individuals down there, and they're led by a great director of maintenance. So when it comes to maintenance, yeah, I like to put a big tick in the box there, and we really do put a lot of effort into getting the team together and getting the experience. Because, yeah, the safety aspect is paramount, and we like to put across to our brokers and our customers that, yeah, these aircraft are highly maintained. There's a high attention to detail. And you know what? I'm quite pleased. It's took us a few years, but we've got there. And the way things are going, I'm looking forward to another good 2025 when it comes to maintenance.
Well, I look forward to speaking with you in the very near future to learn about more and learn about how things are happening here in the summer of 2025. Viewers, listeners, I want you to pick up this website, premieraircharter.com. Follow us here at smallcapvoice.com. Come back to this interview. Hit us with your comments. We will let you know what the new ticker symbol is, as well as the name change for the company. Of course, that'll hit the press wire. So right now, use that ticker symbol ATAO, but it will be changing and it'll hit the press wire right here at smallcapvoice.com. Ross, we look forward to great things from you, your company here in 2025 and well beyond. Thanks for making time for us here today at Small Cap Voice.
Thanks, Stuart. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right, for Ross Gourdie, President of Premier Air Charter, this is Stuart Smith saying thanks so much for tuning in.